In this video series, I work through a math problem, or in this case, several problems each video. Numbers expressed using percent appear frequently in word problems. In order to solve these problems, we need to convert numbers in percent form to numbers we can use in equations. There are two ways to do this. If we want to rewrite a percent as a fraction, we can write a fraction with the percent value in the numerator and 100 in the denominator. If we want to rewrite a percent as a decimal value, we take the percent, take the decimal point, and move it 2 places to the left. The new number is the decimal equivalent of the given percent. Let's take a look at the given problems. The first two problems are straight translation problems, where we need to write equations representing the given statements. The last problem is a word problem where one piece of information is given using percent. We're first asked, what number is 25% of 800? We need to first write an equation from this statement. What number is asking for unknown x, so let's use x to represent this part of the equation. The word is can be translated into an equal sign. 25%, let's use decimals this time. Then we start with the decimal point, which is located right after the 5, move it 2 places to the left, and we get 0.25. The word of will translate to a multiplication sign, and 800 is 800. So we can find the number that we're looking for by multiplying 0.25 by 800. When we do, we find that this is equal to 400. So 25% of 800 is equal to 400. Next, we're being asked 11 is what percent of 176? Once again, we start at the start of the equation. 11 is 11, and the word is will translate to an equal sign. What percent? This time, let's use a fraction. The denominator is always 100, so let's go ahead and use x to represent the numerator. This is what we're looking for. The word of will translate into a multiplication sign, and 176 is 176. When we multiply a fraction by a number like this, we can first rewrite 176 as a fraction. When we multiply fractions together, we can rewrite this as a single fraction with the numerator equal to the multiple of the numerators, and the denominator equal to the multiple of the denominators. The numerator is equal to 176x, and the denominator is equal to 100. To solve this for x, we multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of the coefficient, so we'll be multiplying both sides by 100 over 176. So when we do, we get just x on one side of the equation, and on the other side, we start out with 11, and we multiply that by 100 over 176. Now we can divide out common factors. 176 is a multiple of 11, so we can divide out 11 from 11 and 176. When we do, we end up with 16 in the denominator. 100 and 16 both are divisible by 4, so when we divide both of the numbers by 4, we get 25 over 4. When we carry out this division, we get 6.25. So 11 is 6.25% of 176. Finally, let's take a look at the word problem. We're given that over the last 2 years, Jack saw a total of 84 action movies. This is 35% of all the movies that Jack saw. How many movies did Jack see in all over the last 2 years? So once again, we need to write an equation, but the information is spread out over a few sentences. So let's go ahead and try to put the information together into a equation. We're given that Jack saw 84 action movies. So let's go ahead and write that on one side of the equation. And since we're looking for the total number of all the movies that Jack saw, let's use X to represent this quantity. Then, if we take 35% of that total number of movies, then we end up with 84, the total number of action movies that Jack saw. So that means if we start with X, then multiply by 35%, we're going to use a fraction to represent the percentage this time. Then we end up with 84. To solve this equation for X, we'll multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of 35 over 100, which is 100 over 35. Writing this out, we get X is equal to 84 multiplied by the reciprocal, which is 100 over 35. Both 100 and 35 have a common factor of 5, so let's divide both of the numbers by 5. We end up with 20, and 35 divided by 5 is 7. Then we divide 84 and 7 by 7 since they both have a common factor of 7. 84 divided by 7 is 12, and 7 divided by 7 is 1. So we only have 1 left in the denominator, so that goes away, and we just need to carry out the multiplication 12 by 20. When we do, we get 240. So Jack saw a total of 240 movies over the last 2 years.